Hey guys, Azeem and Kamil here with the Almost Grown Up podcast. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. And if there's a bell you touch tonight, make sure it's a notification bell so you stay up to date with our latest podcast.
Boom!
Enjoy the show.
Okay, let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Nice.
Do we still need to do that?
I quite like it. No, we don't.
It's become our thing.
We never needed to do it.
We did because of the calls.
Yeah, but that was it.
And they're just sort of stuck now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah. Well, what
Can't
a week.
get rid of it.
What a week, what a week. I don't know.
What a man, what a man. I'm not going to go what a week, but...
What a mighty good man. So yeah, it's been the week of the small fish taking over the big fish.
Yeah, baby.
I don't want to dwell on it too much, but hopefully you guys have been keeping up with some sort of news. You heard about GameStop?
Yeah.
All the guys
man.
cashing in on the short selling and all the shorting of the stocks, and they're just losing stupid amounts
It's
of
just
money.
a big old middle finger to the man, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And what's crazy is that the big hedge funds, I think they've already been bailed out by like 2 billion or something like that.
Yeah.
People are still buying in, and
Oh, wait,
it's
is
funny.
buying in or buying short?
buying
contracts?
short
Oh,
stuff,
right.
buying into the whole thing. And
Yeah,
if you
okay.
guys don't know, I'd recommend just YouTubing it or Googling.
We'll do a
whichever.
really bad job explaining it.
yeah. And I think just follow that the Reddit, the subreddit. Is it Wall Street Bets?
To be fair, it's all over the news now, so you could probably just...
Yeah, I think
find
Wall
out.
Street Bets might be, if you want an intro, just Google it first and then go to Wall Street Bet
Yeah.
afterwards. But it's funny because all the big the big traders are now sort of calling for more regulation. It's like, well, you guys, no one broke the law. You just got beat at your own game.
Yeah, well, technically it is. It's kind of like borderline illegality because it's almost like mass market manipulation. But then you can swing, you can flip the coin and
It's
be like,
been happening for
well, that's
years.
what they do. Yeah,
Yeah.
but behind closed doors. And also it goes with, they're trying to drive the price down. But so they're trying to do it.
Well, they're
in
banking
what's-
on the price coming down,
No, but they're obviously trying to drive the price down as well, like artificially.
which is mass market manipulation.
Exactly. Yeah, but they're doing it in after hours trading. So you know what after hours trading is, right? Yeah. So, but only big institutions have access to it. So like we can't trade in after hours. So it's like, wait, hang on, but surely it should be the same for everyone. Like,
Yeah,
just-
it's
it
not a
makes
level
no sense.
playing field.
No, it's all in favor of the big corporations, and they've lost like $5 billion now collectively. It's like,
And
hey,
they had
fuck you.
They had a Hail Mary by they tried to do a market shake-up so people would panic and sell. So
Right.
they tried to tell them through the media, through like CNBC, that they'd run out of the stocks to sell, which wasn't true, by the way. And like apps like Robinhood have either they've said you can't buy anymore, but you can reduce your position or sell it. Or it's like other apps have been like you can only buy in like
Small
groups of
fractions.
5, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't buy like mass buy up
Yeah.
the stocks, but
Which in itself
just kind of
is-
goes to show, some point what goes around will come around. If you keep screwing the little people will uprise.
I feel like almost this year, well, the last 12 months, shall we say, has seen a lot of this shift in, like, it's been a bit of a shake-up in the system and how things have been done. Because, like, let's face it, right? Things like the stock market and governments and huge corporations like that, they haven't changed for like the last 100 years.
No.
It's just stayed the exact same. And now, go to companies like Tesla, for instance. They've shaken it up in that industry, going against the grain, but also it's working and people go, oh, I quite like how they're doing stuff. That's having like a trickle up effect into, I was going to be like trickle down, but no, it's going higher to like the governments and, the whole stock market as it is, where people are now going like, no, we need to like, change how it is, and the kind of the power of social media has enabled that, I think.
Yeah. What goes around comes around.
Yeah.
So
And like the whole Black Lives Matter thing, like that's obviously last year had a huge amount of traction, and rightly so, and that has had obviously like it's just one thing has led to another where we as the populate the 99% have kind of gone, oh, okay, we need to change how shit's been run.
I think it's also just people being aware of
A lot more than they
their
have
own
been.
agency and how much power they do have. So it's like now, like back in the day, because I was actually thinking about this morning whilst looking at all the GameStop stuff. I was like, back in the day, like when our parents were kids, they would have 100% said, stock market, share dealing. It's all, you got to have a certain amount of money to do it. There's no point even thinking about it, right? But now you have like fractional shares, people like trading 212 and all that kind of stuff. And now all you need, and because there are so many businesses, there's so much more to invest, like so many more options. And now everyone's, especially like since lockdown, everyone's like, well, fuck, banks are not giving me shit.
Yeah. And also people are, because of the whole, what's happening with the climate, just in general, and our communities, people are taking more of a stand in trying to help that, the whole vegan movement, using plastic free products. It's, it has to start somewhere, and now it's having that traction where it's becoming more affordable for people to join in and to help out.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, like people want to help as much as they can, right? But only when it's kind of convenient at the same time. If you have to go out your way and spend double the price on, say, an electric car or vegan shampoo, for instance, you're only going to jump on that bandwagon when it's
you can only
affordable.
do it when it's affordable and not of detriment to yourself, which makes sense. No one's going to go full Gandhi and be like, no, I'll suffer, I'll be the martyr and do it. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Maybe there are some people, and all power to you, but you're not going to last very long, because chances are in this world no one's going to do the same back for you. So you got to look after number one first.
And it's also, those technologies that you say might be buying into might not be around in the next year or so. So you're kind of taking a bit of a gamble, But yeah, there's just been a huge
that power
huge
shift.
shake-up. Yeah, totally, man. And also, like,
some might call it karma.
Yeah.
About time it happened.
Yeah, 100%.
You fucking love karma.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say quickly, so with the shift to power, and just, going back to the stock market, is I don't know whether it's just because we're at that age now where it's becoming more appropriate to talk about stuff, but I'm noticing it more in the media now where people are more into it, like more about...
No, they're more conscious.
They're more conscious about it. Like watching some of the news coverage on it, people who are less clued up on it are going, right, let me do some research. And it's also funny enough what a year of being locked up in your house can do. A, it will make you more aware of your finances and how to do shit, and also B, reanalyze how the world is being run. Like before, people would go to work, they'd drive home, they'd be tired from all the commuting and from working, and they just want to fucking sit and mong out, watch TV and not think about anything. Whereas now they've got a bit of extra time, you kind of starting to open up your horizons a bit more.
Still monging out watching TV, so...
But there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I mong out playing video games sometimes until like 2 a.m. just to kind of, before I go to bed, like I've done a bunch of shit. I just need to clear my head, Yeah. I just wanted to say that quickly. It was like in my head and I was like, what was I going to say?
What were you talking about?
Karma.
Yeah, because I remember when we were, I think, college age or something. Yeah, I remember you telling me about how...
Dude, yeah.
I can't remember what the exact story. I think something to do with skateboarding.
Yeah.
When and you were like, this is why I believe in karma. And I was like...
So, one of my really close mates, who I would go skating with, I don't know, I was like... I don't even think it was college. I think it was like sixth form.
That is college.
Oh, sorry, yeah. When you say college, I always think of ACM, which is technically a uni. Yeah, so like 16 or whatever. So heavily into skating, and those who aren't familiar with skateboarding or clued up on it, we don't just put our boards down, stand on it and push. You hold your board in the hand, and then you kind of run and drop it and jump on it, so you can kind of gain that momentum. It's just a cooler way of doing it, and it's more efficient. You just put your board down and kind of like a beginner. So
I've actually never seen anyone do.
We would always, in the skate park, yeah. So we would always, just do that. And then I think we were coming from his house. We were just sort of skating down the main road, and we were on a pavement, so we just had our boards in our hand, and he was going to, run and just jump on the board like we would normally. But the board, that happens, the board, as he was about to set it down, his wrist turned, so the board was upside down, obviously, wheel side up. So he landed on his board and just fully fucking stacked it, right? But at the same time, there were two girls walking towards us, which made me kind of realized like maybe he did that just to kind of I wish this in it, but he absolutely fucking stacked it. And I'm then behind him just like laughing my head off. Not any more so, but it's just funny. Like you just laugh at him, but he got so vexed. I think he got a bit embarrassed. He went home. I'm like,
well, so he just full on just deleted the sesh. He's like, no, I'm out.
Yeah, well, I think we were just going to mine
rage quit.
Maybe to get he just rage quit basically. Sorry to call you out like that.
Well, you never named him, so it's fine.
Yeah, I was going to, but I was like, no, you know who you are, but you're the best. And yeah, so then that happened, and about I want to say like 2 weeks later, we were at a skate park in Kingston, outdoor skate park. We got there really early. There's no one there. There's like a group of 6 or 7 of us. And they're kind of like chatting. I just kind of go off on myself and go and try out some tricks and stuff. And I learned the new trick, and I was like, oh, sick, I got it. So I was just kind of like, oh, boys, watch this. And I kind of like get some speed. Oh, no, it wasn't even that. I was kind of like doing a couple of practice runs. I'm like, okay, cool. Watch now. So I had my board in my hand, same exact thing. I go run a little bit faster than I kind of would have before, just to be like, okay, I'm just going to do it a bit quicker.
You had the confidence.
Had the confidence. Guess what happened? The board flipped in my hand. I landed on this sucker upside down, like reflexes just to land like this, which is what you shouldn't do. You have to do this and just fucking roll on your back or whatever. Headbutt the ground.
Don't do that.
And then I broke my collarbone.
That's what
I couldn't fucking get up, or I could get up and it was just like, it just didn't feel right. And it was just like, kind of clicking happening. I was like, oh, something isn't right. So the boys picked me up. Obviously, they're laughing their heads off at the same time. I was like, rightly so.
It's not funny this time.
I'm actually like fucked. So they walked me to where the kind of fence is. I sit up against this fence. I can't stand up, and it's like you realize just how much of your upper body you need to stand up. I felt so useless, bro. And I'm there like, lads, I can't fucking get up. Like my hand is like this. I can't lower it. So we had to call an ambulance. So the ambulance
came.
Yeah, dude. I was sat that's the only time I've ever been in the back of an ambulance. So I sat there.
Oh, that's the laughing gas thing, right?
Yeah. So, so get in the back of this ambulance, and they goes, "Oh, yeah, cool." Like you're kind of laughing it off and whatever. Skateboard in hand, I just fucking lying there. They hand me this like, I don't know what you call it, the thing
gas
you put.
Mask.
Yeah, the mask thing. Like, oh, here's have this kind of numb the pain or whatever. I'm like, the fuck is this? He's like, oh, that's laughing gas, isn't it? I'm like, okay, cool. So I have it. And meanwhile, a buddy of mine who was skating as well, he was just in there, so somebody came with me. I fucking inhaled this thing a couple of times, and just tunnel vision just goes whoop. And it's the first time I've like ever done anything like that. Pitch just goes like 6 octaves low. Everything's really slow, like I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And then
they make the pain go away.
One of the ambulance drivers or paramedics, I guess, turns over and goes, oh yeah, they're the giggles. So I'm just there like with this fucking huge grin on my face. It's great. But yeah, so that's my.
And that's why you believe in karma.
100%. Like that to me anyway was like, that was full on karma, because it was the same reenactment. I laughed, and then I got the exact same. I got my comeuppance. But
would you still have considered it karma if it had been something else? So either
if I fell differently or whatever.
If you fell not exactly the same way he'd fallen, or if you'd fallen totally unrelated to skateboarding, or if it had just been another fall.
Probably not. Probably not. Because it would have been just an unrelated thing.
Because it's so similar, you now believe in karma.
It's such a specific thing.
Is this something that viewers, you also, or listeners also believe in? Because this sort of falls in line with me personally for something along the lines of being superstitious. Like, number 13's unlucky, or don't walk under. First of all...
Are you quite superstitious then?
No.
You're not? Yeah, me neither. No.
And don't walk under...
Ladders.
A ladder, and I'm like, that's fucking stupid to begin with. That's not bad luck, that's common sense.
It's just being dumb. Yeah.
Or like if a black cat crosses your path.
My parents used to do that. I remember when I was a kid, we'd be like in the car, a cat would just go zoom. My dad would stop the car, pull over, wait for another car to go by to kind of break that line.
Psych!
And then he'd go, I'm like, bro, what are you doing? And I'm like 8 going, what are we doing?
You'd be fucked if you're sitting on a deserted road. Guess we're going back.
Yeah. I'll just try and go around, try to race the cat.
Why did you hit the cat?
Oh. Is that extra bad luck? Or
PETA is going to happen.
What if you own a black cat? Uh-oh.
But this is the other thing. There's lots of negative connotations or like bad luck connotations around black dogs as well.
What?
Because black animals or anything black is considered like shapeshifter. Do you know what I mean? Because
That's kind of racist.
oh yeah, I think it's more to do with animals and the shape-shifting nature, because it's all like old biblical references and like
Right.
Angels and demons and all this kind of shit.
Like stories, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like surely karma sits within that. Like the whole what goes around comes around. You know, you'll get your comeuppance, like you said.
Yeah.
So I would consider you a reasonable human being. So I find it interesting that you think those superstitions are less valid, but karma is more valid because you've now associated it with a personal.
Yeah, I also
incident.
feel like at the time, because we were, so the group of like mates who I was skating with back then, it was like a huge age range where it was like me and my mates were the oldest.
Grandpa.
Oh yeah, almost. And there was like a few kind of, just mates like who were,
fuck you skating
I don't know, they were like 12 or 11 at the time.
Yo.
Bro, we were 15. They're just mates.
Okay. Statutory rape.
But then, like, so we'd not pick on them, but it was just a bit like, oh, they're the young ones. It's like, whatever. So there was a bit of that happening at the same time. So it could have just been like this build up of like, okay, you've been picking on this person. Oh, and then you did this, and boom. Have the same thing happen
So
to
you're
you.
keeping a score in your head.
Well, I wasn't, but then that situation made me kind of analyze, and I feel like I then was a bit different after it, because I then realized, this is full on karma, and I was like, maybe I should.
What if you hadn't broken your collarbone? Do you reckon you'd still consider? So if it was exactly the same circumstances, but the injury wasn't as bad.
I feel like the broken bone made it the thing that was like, okay, this is karma, because it almost has to go like step above. Like you can't just match that same level. It has to be a similar level,
because it's got to be and some to make up for the fact that you laughed in the first place.
yeah, just to kind of kick you down a notch. Because his thing was like he was probably embarrassed, because like it was in front of two girls or whatever who like lived like close by, so like he'd kind of see him quite often or whatever.
That's better. That's like an icebreaker, just waiting to happen.
Well, yeah, exactly. But he was.
Hey, remember me? Just fish.
It's also how you come out of the situation. Like, had he not have
It's basically how I chat on most girls.
just fall in front of them, dude, fucking what's the guy's name? John Terry. Just
Hopefully that clip is playing somewhere. Right?
yeah. I'm Azeem. Want to go out? Just like looking up at them. So yeah, man. And there's been a few others which I just can't think of at the time, but I know that there's been a couple of situations. Other instances where
you thought,
but more subtle, where I've kind of clocked on them and gone, this could end badly. And kind of learned to pick up on that.
Yeah, but then is it one of those things where it's like horoscopes, which I think we've talked about on this podcast before, where you just sort of apply it to yourself and you're like, maybe I felt like some sort of subconscious guilt about this previous thing that I did.
I don't know.
And therefore I'm now equating. So like you could equate, maybe there's like 10 other things, like a list of 10 things that you've done, quote unquote, bad in your life, but you remember one of those and you equate this other thing that's happening to you.
Potentially.
And you're like, now I've got my karmas all made up. And you'll now believe in your head from that point forward that it's even. Like life has gotten even with you. But there's still a list of those 9 things that you didn't remember.
So
right?
the thing that I would say is, whenever I've had those thoughts and whenever I've thought about karma in general, it's never been about equaling the playing field of going, that's happened. Okay, I'm evil now. I'm even now. I can go back to kind of being how I was. No, it's always been like, okay, I'll be better because of it. So when that whole skating situation happened, I felt as though I was a bit more like supportive around like those younger kind of skateboarders, whereas it was less like picky. And then I kind of then through proxy, like the other dudes' viewpoints changed as well, and we became kind of more like just like a community. Like we were a bit closer. Yeah. It just took me to break my fucking collarbone for that to happen, which I'm willing to take. I'm willing to take the literal fall on.
Nice.
Full fall, yeah. I don't mind being the guy.
So, okay. I'm trying to think if there's any periods in my life where I thought, this is karma. I think it takes a certain level of self-awareness to do it. Because I was thinking, if you're now just relating it back to the GameStop thing, if you're these hedge fund guys, are you thinking, damn, this is karma coming back to bite me for? Because
Probably not,
Again, I
'cause
keep
they're
telling
like-
you to watch The Big Short, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned it in the very first podcast that we did, or something like that.
Seen it.
But yeah, it's basically The Big Short. It's those guys who saw it coming and made money out of it.
Yeah.
And there's this one guy who's having, I think the guy is played by Steve Carell in the movie, and he's having this like super like massive moral dilemma about it. And he's like, this isn't right, because lots of this caused a financial crash like around the world. So I wonder if there's like some guy sat in a hedge fund right now being like, I probably deserve this.
Potentially.
But then again, I don't know, because
But
like,
not everyone.
we said before, people will only jump on the bandwagon to help others as long as it's not a detriment to them. And it probably isn't, because 1 or 2 million or more is probably like sofa change for them.
100%, yeah.
But then when you get to that stage, which is again another topic that we covered before, when you get to the level of success, your goalposts change. So now you're like, I'm just gonna accumulate wealth now, even though I don't need it.
It's more about protection of wealth,
It's more about
so you don't lose it due to inflation.
I think it's just that type A personality where you're just like go more. This is what I need to do, and you kind of lose sight of the fact that there's other.
Which I think is just a natural thing, when you get to a certain level of success. We talked about the whole thing with Kevin Hart a few podcasts ago, where success breeds success, and it's completely true, because I find anyways, the busier I get, the busier I want to be, and the more I'm like, cool, I'm doing shit, And then if I have if I have a quiet week, I then find it hard to do some shit within that week, and then I find it hard to again get back on that productivity train afterwards. It's like, unless I have deadlines.
It's like when you're going for a run, right? Don't fucking stop. It's harder to get started up again.
Yeah, totally.
Because then everything just like calms down, and then you're like, the bit when you have to
And then
start moving again,
and then you stop
the bit
again.
when you start moving again, you're like, this is fucking horrendous. Like I should have just taken the pace back down a notch a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, as long as I didn't stop moving, that would have been way better.
There's definitely just different ways to look at all this, and it just depends what your views are towards it. But I mean, I know which side I'm on. Like, I'm fully like, I believe in karma. Yeah, because it's just like, without getting all a bit like kind of voodoo or like energy stuff, where it's just
I would love to have someone like that on this podcast.
Oh yeah, totally.
Someone who, if you believe in that stuff, in horoscopes, in superstitions, in I don't know, voodoo energy, quote unquote, I don't know what you want to call it.
Yeah.
Get involved.
Yeah, totally.
Love to hear from you.
So for me, like, just to kind of outline it a bit, I believe in like all the kind of the energy of the universe and all this sort of stuff, because we are atoms, we are energy, right? So there must be some sort of attraction within that. Don't know how, but I'm sure there is. But I'm not on board of the whole like energy crystals and energy stones and things like that. Like,
it's funny you mentioned that.
That's why I've not really.
Remember when I was at my last job, and I was going through really shit time, like the last 6 months of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird, because when you become desperate, you start like looking for things. And I was obsessed with like obsidian, because it's meant to be like a stone that like I've never believed in that stuff, but when you're desperate for something, you'll reach out to it, which is why people have like these near-death experiences.
They turn to religion.
And yeah, exactly. Because they need to feel like there's something bigger than them
to
have a purpose and whatnot, or they'll find a purpose because of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So is why I'm personally I wouldn't go to it, but it's funny how corner me, and I bet you I would.
Yeah, I think it also comes down to,
which is probably why karma, or people believe in karma, because that gives them a reason to understand why something bad happened to them. Because that way they've managed to establish a reason why, rather than just life is shit. It's easy to be like, I deserve that because
which I think is definitely the better way to think about it. Because if you're always just like, oh, life is against me,
then you're going to be
You need to always like dig deeper,
internalize it somehow,
and analyze somehow, and just kind of go back and look at past experiences or something, and because that's what's going to make you grow. People always say like, oh, you should look at the past, because like the future's going to be different or whatever. To some degree, but a lot of the shit that we've learned nowadays is because we studied the past, fucking, archaeology and all this sort of stuff. And like we're, going back and looking at stuff and then twisting it and applying to it. Because shit doesn't really change. Yeah, the way businesses run changes, but the fundamental...
This is a roundabout. We went from archaeology to business.
Yeah, but like, so,
the all-encompassing
like,
roundup.
But you know what I mean? Like, businesses are just like, it's just a small part of it. But like, life as it is, like, that doesn't change. Like, equations don't change. Like, it stayed the same 100 years ago
It's like it's funny because we spoke about memes to end the last podcast, but it's like how people say we live the same lives. Like we have the same problems. We've got the same struggles throughout.
Yeah.
And funny enough, just to link it into music, like all the best music comes out of people trying to make sense of hard times. Whether you lose someone, whether it's losing something, trying to deal with filling a space that's been left by something you've lost. It's all usually good music is linked to trying to make sense of it, and that's why people can relate to it. Because they're like, maybe the song's written about a girl, but this person's reading those lyrics and they're all feeling something because it relates to losing their business, you know?
Yeah.
It's like we live the same.
It's all interpretive as well.
There's the same things to try and make sense of. And maybe that's why karma plays such a big part, because it's an easy way to be like, I can now equate this bad thing to something else, and now I feel like I've broken even, and instead of beating myself up, I can just move on from it. I've got my closure. I've got my closure on that one situation,
which is a big thing too. Yeah.
Because until you've got closure, I suppose you can't really build upon anything. It's like how you always see stories about, you know, people go on dates and they have so-and-so talking about their ex still. It's like if they're still dealing with that, they're in no way ready to go on to something.
No.
Maybe they just want to fuck. I don't know. Could do that without doing anything, to be honest.
Nothing wrong with that, obviously. You know, you deal with shit however you want to deal with shit.
You go get that dick. Or whatever else you want.
Yeah.
And with that, I feel like some nice way to round up.
Nice short, snappy one.
I think we've pretty much hit the 29-minute mark.
Oh yeah, we are. Yeah, fucking hell, that one flew by.
I wish we could have ended it on "Go Get That Dick." But like I said, guys, thanks for listening in. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to touch that bell, make sure it's notification on. And tune in again next week.
Peace.